You're listening to Thomasville, North Carolina's best gospel station, WEOM 103.1 FM. And we're here with our very special guest. We have Blackleaf. Blackleaf, how's your day going? How are you today?
I'm off of work today, so I'm pretty fine.
We're glad that you're here.
Yes, sir.
If you guys remember, Blackleaf sat in as a special guest with us regarding, what was the name of the show? We did a thing about gaming in the industry as a whole.
Yes, the gaming. My premiere episode where you were talking about the gaming industry as a whole and the future of gaming and how it affects culture and so on and so forth.
Right. And how you could also make a career out of it. Because a lot of people claiming that they're gamers now. I'm like, okay. Just like you got a lot of producers now, everybody claiming they're gamers. I went, But to stay on topic a little bit, Blackleaf, I'm glad that you're here.
Oh, thank you.
And we're going to try to focus a little bit on something I don't like to talk about on a regular basis, but we have to because it's an election year. We got to talk about politics. All right. Did you guys look at the national conventions at all? Did anybody look at the Republican National Convention or the Democratic Convention?
I looked at a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to keep abreast of what's going on.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I didn't have enough time. I was too tired. But I do know what's going on. And to kind of jump ahead, based on the things that I've been hearing about a certain crazy candidate, I think I'm already ready to vote. If you just bring the ballot up to my house, bring it up to the door, I will go ahead and submit who I'm ready for.
I heard that.
It's always about picking the lesser of two evils, and this guy, there's nothing less about him whenever it comes to evil.
Well, I'm trying to be open-minded because I'm like Blackleaf. I like to try to look at both sides of the coin, and I try to be open-minded about who I'm going to vote for. But I don't want you. To me, it pretty much boils down to, do you want to be for a party of people that look at inclusion, or do you want to be for a party of folks that claim that they're about exclusion? And to me, that's really all it boils down to. You want to involve everybody in the process, or you want to exclude?
Thomasville, North Carolina. Entertainment talk radio at its best with Kaye Dee and Motormouth on 103.1 WEOM FM.
But anyway, moving on. But I don't know if you guys are familiar with the movie The Green Mile. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I love it, love it, love it. It starred Tom Hanks and Michael Clark Duncan. It's just an awesome movie. So I was kind of disheartened to hear that Michael Clark Duncan actually died recently. He was 54 years old. He died of a heart attack, and he was engaged to. You guys ever see The Apprentice?
Yes.
The lady, she was one of the biggest villains on Donald Trump's The Apprentice. Her name was Omarosa.
Yeah. Well, he had been battling with that, trying to recover from a heart attack for a couple of months there. So it was a problem there. He must have had a real serious heart attack.
Yeah.
Which all of them are serious, but some is have more complications than others.
I mean, he never recovered from it, apparently.
Probably being 50, in his 50s, it was probably hard for his body to recover.
Hey.
No, I mean, dead serious because whenever you're that old, even if they do bring you back, nah, for real, because that's why you got to watch out for your health. Because even if you do come back, if your body can't handle it, then
Well, I think with him, it caught everybody off because he looked like he could be a bodybuilder because he was very much in shape, And but again, looking at that, he weighed 300 or more pounds.
Oh, he wore 300 something.
Yes,
pounds?
He was a big guy because he was around about 6'8", 6 something. He had height. He was a big guy. So, like as you're saying, that could have brought on different complications also. In there, different because he had blockage somewhere, in the system.
Just because you look like you're healthy, you could have all the muscles in the world, but if your cardiovascular system's poor, then it doesn't mean anything.
That's true.
True. That's the whole point. Looks can be deceiving. Like, have you ever heard of guys like it's interesting to me whenever you see headline news where somebody's been out jogging.
Yeah, and they drop dead.
And then they drop dead. Like, I don't mean jogging. I mean, like, like a cross-country kind of thing. Like, what is the big race? Like the Peachtree Road race?
The marathon runners.
The marathon runners, thank you. And then they die. I'm like, well, good gracious.
Well, it all depends on what they're doing with their extracurricular activities and, again, how well they've been taking care of their health. Because whenever you jog on a consistent basis, your heart is going to develop more veins to pump blood to.
And then, too, you know what I thought about Blackleaf? It could have been, we don't really know this man's background. It could have been something in his genetic build, his background. I mean, we don't really know. But
that's very true, too.
Yeah, because genetics also has a big play into heart health.
Exactly.
But anyway, I was just really disheartened because it's something about this guy's presentation I always like. Something about him with that big grin. I don't know. And he was awesome in one of my favorite movies, The Green Mile. So, you know, my sympathies goes out to the family of Michael Clark Duncan.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, let's move on to politics and everything. Oh, along the political line of just scanning the headlines, I don't get with Nicki Minaj. I'm not a Nicki Minaj fan, but apparently a lot of people are. She has a serious following. But it's interesting to me that she's been receiving death threats this week because she came out and said a few things that pissed some folks off. First of all, she came out and said that she was a Republican, which I feel like that's your prerogative to be with whatever political affiliation you want to.
Exactly.
But she came out and said that she endorses Mitt Romney and credits lazy, I'm not even going to say what she said, for the economic downturn. And she said a few other things that were kind of interesting.
You know, I'm not really surprised because, number one, Nicki Minaj is pretty much pretty much a black Lady Gaga, just on a more extreme case. And number two, she's crazy in my opinion.
Yeah.
And to have someone, okay, because be honest with you, we don't have too many black pillars in our society, really, people that we could actually call leaders. Mm-hmm. So seeing as how we have a large music industry, we basically, you know, turn to those people as our political leaders. And, you know, you've had some good ones like Mos Def, and I think it was Talib Kweli, that bought a black library up in New York whenever it was going out of business. They bought and paid for it with their own money versus something like this where you've got Nicki Minaj, who's already crazy, talking about, you know, Mitt Romney probably being the next presidential electee. But at the same time, if you look at Nicki Minaj, she's just basically using the her influence on the public opinion, because if you look up, you've got...
She's kind of an extremist,
She's too extreme, and, you know, she's basically...
But that's how she's gotten to the height of where she is, by being extreme also.
Well, she's gotten to the height of being where she is now because it's kind of hard to call music nowadays real music. And there's just basically a lot of followers. I mean, I could take a bunch of Lincoln Logs and drop them on the floor and then record that and then...
Are you trying to say Nicki Minaj is not a real performer?
No,
and that's your prerogative.
No, she's not. I mean,
she's not what I call a singer. She's someone that's easy to market, in my opinion.
I just look at her being a true businesswoman because she took the thing and came out with the idea of being the Black Barbie and marketed it, you know. And then she's very well educated too, you know.
She's just somebody that's good at marketing,
you know, background. But then again, you know, it's not surprising to me because the Republicans already earlier during the season came out with the black Buffys and the different black people that they already said that to endorse and do the whole thing on the political agenda for the Republican. So they, you know,
it's nothing
they
wrong.
probably got a couple more celebrities that just haven't came out just yet.
It's nothing wrong with doing your thing, but I don't think you need to put other people down to get ahead. That's just my opinion. And you're entitled to feel how you want to feel about people, but to be calling it, she's calling a whole economic group of people lazy bees. I'm not even going to repeat all this stuff that she said and blaming them for the economic downturn. And I don't think that one select group of people had anything to do with the economic downturn as a whole.
And that's why I really don't agree with it. I mean,
exactly.
They don't have the money to cause it in the first place.
She can be Harvard educated. She can come from Spelman. She can come from whatever. But to call
that was kind of an ignorant statement. In my opinion.
It's a very ignorant statement.
Apparently, she didn't take macroeconomics. She might need to go back and review that a little bit.
But I mean, that's why I just have it what is it called nowadays? "Quote unquote" hip hop. That's why I have a hard time listening to "quote unquote" hip hop because "quote unquote" hip hop is not real hip hop.
Yeah, it's kind of like mindless thinking, in my opinion. But she's got her followers and it's working for her, and God bless her. But as a result of that, she's receiving death threats, and I just thought that was kind of interesting. It ain't worth killing somebody, y'all.
Can't feel sorry for her. Huh?
Worth killing.
Sorry about your dang luck.
My goodness.
But
moving on to another strange comment that occurred.
This last thing, that's the problem with the music. That's my biggest problem with the music, because people are more so business minded because they forgot about the message. That's why I don't agree with this new hip hop.
But wouldn't you agree, in order to be successful in the music industry, regardless of whether you're hip hop, R&B, regardless, you have to be business oriented. You have to be marketable.
It depends on what you're.
And you have to be creative. How about we look for the keyword of balance? You know
well, it really don't matter today. I mean,
it really doesn't.
The genre is so far and wide that it's just whatever you can market and bring out there is what's happening in the scene now.
True.
I guess we'll say that.
You know, you got to be more diverse on your own and your, how you want to say, internet search or what you want to listen for, because it's out there, but just everything just don't get airplay and into the mainstream. But there's still a wide selection, and I think it's the idea of people really having a desire for quality music, the music with the message and different things, because right now it's just about partying, doing this, freak this way, freak that way, and that's what's bringing down to the scene.
And that's what I think of when I think about Nicki Minaj, and the reality is you have a following for every kind of music, every genre you can think of. Some people don't care about quality music. Some people just want party music. Some people want the false idea and the false. I mean, different things for different people, and apparently she's going after a different group of people, it's her target market, and you know. But I still don't think the woman deserves to be killed over. But you know, that's her. That's her thing.
Like I said, I guess we'll say that for another time.
Yeah. But speaking of another extreme comment, this lady, oh my goodness, help me, guys, help. Oh yeah, world's richest woman says workers should work for $2 per day.
Well, I think what it is on that, she was looking at the ideal that the cost of labor is getting so high in Australia that the African workers is working for $2 a day, and she wanted to move her business and enterprise over to Africa where they're working at a cheaper wage. And that's where that come down to, and it brought a lot of
but you know what,
people attention to it.
It's easy to tell somebody that they should work for $2 a day. I don't care what country they're in. When you sit up here, you are a billionaire. Okay? And then she inherited, from what I recall, she inherited her money.
I'm just going to throw some words.
Didn't have to go work for it at all.
But I think what a lot of people is missing there is not that she's saying what they should work for, but it's what they are working for over in Africa, because that's the reason why the miners is on strike right now.
I'm reading
in South
the
Africa.
Quote. I don't know what I'm reading. The quote in written down text is saying that she says workers should work for $2 per day.
I'm just going to throw these words out there.
Her quote.
Blood diamond.
Okay.
Slavery.
I hear what you're saying, and you would think that what she said or what she meant was what you said, Motormouth, but it's written down. She said they should work for $2.
I ain't even got to say a whole sentence.
Blood diamond. I hear you.
It's not just that. It's blood diamond, slavery, and Harper's Ferry. If you don't know what Harper's Ferry is, look it up.
I hear you, Motormouth and Blackleaf. I hear both of y'all. But anyway, let's move on to politics. I just found it's some interesting quotes going on this week. It seems like everybody's coming out with all this extreme stuff. What is it about politics? You know, there's a quote that goes, "Politics makes strange bedfellows." Politics
and religion make strange bedfellows.
Yeah, politics and religion. But it's making folks come out and say some crazy, in my world, crazy things this week.
Well, it's the two most common things that people have to talk about.
Yeah.
You know,
and then really there are three things that most people don't like to talk about because it creates so much, I don't know, sometimes hostility, and that's politics, sex, and religion. You bring those three things up in public discussion, and Lord have mercy, people get a little crazy. They do.
Well, it's the thing that is most, I guess, important to them that you're discussing, and it's after they get out of school, they don't have social study no more. They don't have history no more. All they get is politics, sex, and religion.
Heck, they're working on trying to take those out of school. I mean, they're already working on trying to take away art, PE.
The performing arts. Isn't that crazy? I don't want to get into that today, but how you can have a whole bunch of kids in the building all day long and not give them any physical activity?
You know, and that's why there's no obesity problem now. But, you know, it used to be K through 12. They used to try and make these classes and make you take them so you could become a more well-rounded person. But I guess they just want somebody that's easily malleable and will easily bend to the the will of the upper public, if you will,
I suppose,
not the public
Black
will.
Leaf, because like you said, it's crazy, man. And we do have an obesity epidemic and a diabetic problem in children now, on the same level almost as adults. But, let's say that for another show topic. But
all I know is I feel sorry for the mom that's going to push that big baby out because she's been eating McDonald's every day.
Yep.
Leave it in.
I don't know.
But along the line of another let's just say another bizarre comment, because God knows there was plenty of them to look at this week. All right, have you guys familiar with the 700 Club at all? Have you guys ever heard of Pat Robertson and the 700 Club?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, I think we all have. We've
Saturday.
all scanned. Yeah, we've all scanned through the TV channels and
Came
seen
on
him
Saturday
sitting
morning
there.
after the cartoons, yeah.
And then the weekdays too, early in the morning.
Yeah, you're right.
He's been around for more than a minute. But this week, he has a comment that got a lot of people ruffled up a little bit. And I'm bringing this up because of the National Democratic Convention that's going on this week, in addition to the Republican, the GOP one that occurred previously. But Mr. Pat Robertson, I should say Reverend Pat Robertson, said, I'm going to just kind of scan over it, that Senate Barack Obama to the presidency of the United States of America has done more to trigger the derangement of right-wingers than anything in recent memory. Although televangelist Pat Robertson was already near the edge, blaming gays for hurricanes and other such nonsense, it's probably safe to say that he's finally crossed over the crazy threshold. That's somebody's quote. Okay, on the 700 Club show, Robertson said, quote, gays, godlessness, and whatever else, unquote, are what the Democratic Party stands for. He continued asserting that Democrats are, quote, going after God, unquote, as if to say Democratic principles, such as support for a living wage and health care for all, are anti-God. But those who are familiar with Robertson know his sordid history of smuggling African blood diamonds. Guys got any comments on that?
I'm still trying to figure out how the gay people are to blame for hurricanes. I mean, unless there's like a rainbow with sparkles and a pink hurricane coming towards land, I don't really. I mean, nothing against them. It's just I don't really.
I guess what he's saying is that the type of activity, okay, you got to deal with activity and energy. I guess they even try to perceive where this man is coming from.
I'm trying to perceive where he's coming from.
You know, from the activities of the planet, it doesn't change the vibratory level of the planet until the cause of the weather. Catastrophes are happening. I mean, that's the only thing I can see, because other than that, that's a ludicrous statement.
Well, I'm trying to figure out, okay, isn't Pat Robertson the same 700 Club preacher? I'm thinking.
He's the one and only.
I mean, but yeah, he is.
He's the only.
But isn't he the same? Isn't he the same fellow, I should say, that, quote me guys or correct me, I'm thinking like when not the tsunami, what was it that happened in Haiti? It was a tsunami. Remember when they had
the hurricane?
The hurricane, thank you. The hurricane, the last big one. That I don't think they ever really recouped from that, to be honest. Wasn't he the one that said that the people of Haiti brought that on themselves?
Yeah, because of
some religion. Yeah, wasn't he saying that about them too?
Because Christianity had not taken over the country yet, and they still had the voodooism and different things going on.
You remember the last time somebody tried to? I mean, nothing against Christianity. I'm a Christian. I'm not a crazy Christian like this guy, but the last time they said Christianity needed to take over a land, or rather the first time, if you will, was with the Native Americans, and look at where they're at now.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I don't know about Pat Robertson. I mean, he comes out with some interesting comments sometimes. Yeah. And my thing is, what does he mean? And quote, whatever else. So I think he's trying to say, I don't know why I'm trying to make logic out of something that's not logical in my way of thinking. I think he's because first of all, Pat Robertson is conservative, definitely conservative. So I'm going by his quote. He's against gays. Okay, what are we supposed to do with all the gay people on the planet? Just put them all together and dump them off the side of the earth? What are we supposed to do with them based on his logic? Okay, godlessness. So he's trying to imply that if you're Democratic, you're godless. Okay, and he's trying to say, and whatever else. I guess that means, and whatever else that he doesn't classify is right wing. It's almost like he's saying everything negative that beyond that is what Democrats are. But
let's say like this here. I don't know if there's Republicans that go out there do the same thing. I'm quite sure you got Republican gays and all of this all of that.
Do.
But let's go back to the basic foundation of the Christian principle. Mm-hmm. Okay, first of all, gayism is denying that, so who have the right to change what they call the scriptures or the scriptures that have been written? And some kind of way in today's society, scriptures is not the same, because gayism was the most hideous crime that you could commit, and meant that you was cast out from the church for life.
But don't we have, based on scripture, as you put it, Motormouth, don't we have, let's keep it real.
Okay, there was no room
gays
for
have
that.
always been, but
right, they always been, but they've been excluded from Christianity.
Okay, let me just finish what I was trying to say. I'm not even talking about that.
Yeah.
There are gays in the Bible.
Okay, but what I'm trying to say, they were excluded from Christianity. They might have another religion, and not saying that they was wrong or anything.
All I'm trying to say is this: gay people have been on this planet throughout history forever and a million years.
I'm not saying that.
Can I finish what I'm trying to say?
Go ahead.
Okay. Even in all my studies of world history and world theology and world literature, and I read a bunch of it. Yeah. Even in Chaucer and Shakespeare and, oh my God, the writings of the Bard and the writings of people from Native Americans and in other countries in Russian literature.
Well, Shakespeare was gay.
I'm not even going there. Okay. All I'm trying to say is gays have been here forever and a day.
Okay, but now on the ordinance and the ethics of Christianity,
I'm not even talking about that,
but that's what I'm talking about. We're talking about Pat Robertson. Okay, all I'm saying is in the actual document.
I hear you, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm going back to trying to analyze this crazy quote. Again, we're talking about what are we supposed to do with people that have always been here based on his way of thinking.
Okay, but
you can exclude them from Christianity. That's fine if that's what you want to do.
Right. They don't have to be Christian.
Exactly. And Christianity is thank you. That's all I'm trying to say. Christianity is not the only religion on this planet. And guess what? It's not the dominant religion on this planet.
But it's their doctrine. That's what I'm trying to say. So when you tap, just leave that man in that doctrine.
Why am I trying to analyze Pat Robinson?
I don't know.
I must be crazy.
But see... But all I'm just trying to say, it's a violation against their doctrine to allow the gays in the church. That's all I'm saying.
I heard you 15 minutes ago.
All I'm just trying to say, there could go to other forms of religion and different things. But to me, it's just funny how they making such a big issue.
I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay?
I think that's what I'm trying to say.
You know what I'm saying? Because
and I guarantee you, there are some gay folks within the 700 Club. Well, they might not be out, but I
don't know that. But I just know they all over the world.
I said they might not be out, but I guarantee you,
just because you have quote unquote some gay people in the 700 Club doesn't really mean anything, because this is the figurehead of the 700 Club, and really, it's not a religious matter. Because I look at it like this. I know Republicans are always going to, any political party is going to say anything, but whenever you've got somebody that's like basically spearheading the whole operation and has become a presidential candidate or nominee, if you will, or whichever, and their point of view on things aligns with, people
he's ultra conservative though,
Yeah, well, I mean, even he's been conservative for a minute, because there's never really been a Republican candidate like, far as I can tell, like Mitt Romney, because this guy's like, hey, let's go ahead, go for the White House, get in there.
Well,
forget about all the poor people.
But Romney's so conservative, he's scary to me. It's almost like with women's rights. Oh my God, I'm not trying to go back to 1850. I'm sorry. I mean, he said some things that are just a little scary
to me. There's a lot more to it, I think, than just him and that. Yeah. Because when you look at the whole thing right now, the Republican Party got some weirdos coming out.
I'm not trying to. They really do.
What I'm saying.
You know what I mean? From everything
I agree with
down.
both of you.
In my opinion,
kind of bizarre, extreme. That's what I mean by extreme.
It's almost on the. It's almost on the same zeal as Scientology, if you will, because Scientology is a pretty interesting religion, if you will, and it's got a lot of people who are very fanatical about it.
Well, if you look at it and everything,
that's true.
Well, I find interesting here. Here you got this. Well, let's just go ahead for the head right now. Talking about Mick running for office, and he's a Mormon.
Yeah, and nobody's really addressing his religion at all.
Not only address the religion, but dealing with the prophecy of the white horse.
But nobody is
even addressing that, whatsoever. And I think that should have a crucial play in everybody's head to understand the prophecy of the white horse.
Well, you know what, Motormouth? Maybe we should follow up with religion and actually focus on Mitt Romney on a different level, because we started briefly during the George Zimmerman updates, but we never really follow up. And I'm not trying to attack Mitt Romney as a man or as a person because I don't know him on that level.
I'm looking at the faith, since we bring faith in and talking about, faith right now, because there's so many things that have been, changed. Yeah. And I just find it, fascinating that of all the religions upon the planet, that the Mormons are the only one deal with the order of Melchizedek.
Yeah, I had a friend that's Mormon in Texas. You remember? And he explained some Mormon beliefs to me that I just, I don't knock what other people choose to believe in at all. I genuinely don't. But I just don't really. It's something I just know I couldn't be comfortable with. That's
but then again, as I say, when you start changing doctrines. To fit certain political things agendas,
exactly.
Right? I find it fascinating. I find that fascinating about Christianity.
Yeah.
I find it fascinating about Mormonism. For where they allow now, quote, black people to participate.
Exactly.
But still, they cannot get a Godhead.
Exactly.
Because they used to look down upon black people because they say they was cursed by the color of their skin.
And even that's debatable. So maybe it is their doctrine is changing. I don't know. All I know is my friend, he really is a friend that's Mormon, is, okay, let's not bring race into it, but in this case it does apply. Okay, he's white. He's a white guy. Okay, I'm African American. I'm a black woman. So of course I'm like, okay, we've been friends. I've known him for, oh my gosh, maybe 20 years. And I don't want to get into religion that deep right now, but I asked him about the concept of the Mormon faith and how they view black people as a whole because it was bothering me. But he explained it to me differently. He said, I don't really know whether their doctrine is changing, whether he lied. I don't know. It's just an interesting religion to me.
A couple years ago, they changed their doctrine to accept black people in a different light. But again, that was only for the political achievement of what they were trying to do because the person who running now just didn't come up overnight.
I don't think he did. Of course he did.
And then again, as I say, when people get into the prophecy of the white horse, they will understand more about the Mormon movement since it was founded and everything, and what's really going on. Because other than that, there's still people that go beyond that have set that up, to be where it's at.
And I'm with you, Motor. I agree. I don't think that Mitt Romney just popped up overnight, and I don't think think that Barack Obama just popped up.
No, Mick is finishing off what his father couldn't finish. So it's going on, a long way.
I still say this is politically based thoth because for a guy that's conservative and keeps himself ultra conservative, quiet, keep my opinions to myself. Like I was saying, we got somebody that's finally going to back my idea to make Bunny's the new Jesus in the church. All right, let's go ahead and back him. And, just crazy stuff like that tends to come out.
And I guess I don't like the word crazy, but here we go again. It's crazy to me because it's something I just can't wrap my mind around because it's a little extreme in my opinion. But I genuinely do believe that everybody's entitled to believe in whatever they want to believe in. All I know in America.
The book says Jesus Christ was a man. It don't say nothing about Jesus Christ being a bunny. So I'm sorry if that's factual information and we got somebody, I'm not taking the word back. Crazy. We got somebody crazy saying that
that's for sure.
We're gonna replace the image of Jesus Christ with the Easter bunny. Then he's got problems.
I don't know.
I mean,
but speaking about crazy, let's move on to another. So we're gonna come back and with the next show, we're gonna follow up a little bit more some of this extremeness.
Well, I would suggest that you take a break right now.
Yeah, let's take a quick
pay some
break.
Bills and come back.
Yeah, we're gonna take a quick break. Well, this is Kaye Dee and Motor Mouth with special guest Blackleaf. We'll be back in a moment.
Thomasville, North Carolina. Entertainment talk radio at its best with Kaye Dee and Motor.
Live and in full effect, this is Blackleaf online. And whenever I listen to the radio, I listen to WEOM 103.1 FM with Kaye Dee and Motor.